From bodybuilder to state terminator, Arnold has moved through the genres of Hollywood to the institutions of Sacramento. In a planned operation to use his theatrical abilities, expertise, and connections, Arnold has sought to accomplish the many goals that he has for a state, while its people fail to realize the negative impacts such goals will have on their livelihood and on their state. On his California State Governor's webpage, Arnold takes credit for several acts, plans, and initiatives that were established well before he took office, or that are merely titles. Let's take a look at some of these. First, there's the State Workers' Compensation System, which includes STRS and PERS, which are the California State Teachers Retirement System, and the California Public Employees Retirement System. When he argues that he overhauled the system, he initiated a reduction in the retirement and fringe benefits, which includes all medical and health care. Anyone employed after 2002 will receive a reduction in their benefits, thus the 29% growth in the gross state product he boasts of on his page, without mentioning, of course, where these funds were allocated from. These cuts to teachers and other employees are progressive and can increase to the point where it wipes out benefits completely. Next is the Strategic Growth Plan. This is no act, therefore it's merely a title. It's not a policy, and it's an unfunded title at that. So Arnold is promoting something that basically does not exist. There's not even a year mentioned. So Caltrans is encouraged to increase traffic flow while reducing traffic congestion on the highways and freeways. Yet there's no financial backing to do so. So Arnold is telling them, fix this with your current budget and budget cuts. Caltrans operates state-owned roadways, whereas cities operate their own roadways. For example, Hawthorne Boulevard is a Caltrans roadway. This means that the stoplights at those intersections, where City Street meets a Caltrans street, are coordinated in a hybrid fashion. This results in an untimely coordination of stoplights, thereby increasing traffic at those stoplights and a preponderance of accidents. Governor Schwarzenegger rejected a Caltrans proposal to work with the cities to create a plan. Coordinated stoplights require funding from both the state and the city, but California law requires the state to pay for roadway improvements, thereby placing a financial impingement on the state, which Arnold, of course, is against. That would affect his GSP. Here's one of my favorites, the Hydrogen Highway. Has anyone here seen a hydrogen highway? Or does anyone know anyone with a hydrogen car? How can Arnold promote directives that don't exist? This initiative is a fantastical approach to the creation of an ecology-centered system. It fails, however, to delineate how its funding will be sourced, other than the extrapolation of funding from other earmarked sources, such as education, to provide for the so-called hydrogen highway. Since the hydrogen highway has been implemented in 2005, there has been no statistical nor anecdotal data to affirm that the hydrogen highway has in any way, shape, or form has been launched in California, let alone be successful. It is simply a political expression in a time of environmental awareness. The stakeholders benefit from being able to bid upon federal contracts to research and provide hydrogen vehicles. The Million Solar Roofs Plan, or the California Solar Initiative. Everyone I know who has solar panels installed them of their own volition, not because of some plan from Arnold. The CPUC is the California Public Utilities Commission. What is the purpose, existence, and role of the CPUC? What exactly is its function? Well, the PUC is comprised of Arnold-appointed commissioners who also happen to serve on the boards of utility corporations. With the creation of an unfunded mandate, such as the Million Solar Roofs Plan, it provides a fictitious credibility and functionality for the PUC. The California Solar Initiative is just an idea that will not come to fruition because of its financial inhibitions, such as the number of individuals who can afford the cost of this construction, which is so minuscule that the cost and benefits do not equal out. Even with solar power, electricity is still sent to their house because they can't be bypassed on the grid by the electrical company. The Safe, Clean, and Reliable Drinking Water Supply Act of 2010. California already had safe and clean drinking water before Arnold came along. This $5.9 billion act is continuously appropriated, which means that the funding will be progressively increased, even if the funding sources are unavailable, which directly and negatively impacts the already dilapidated state budget. It does not establish a criteria for what reliable or reclaimed water truly is. All that this act clearly does is funnel money into a system that's already defunct and that has already established potable and suitable drinking water. This involves, once again, Governor Arnold's stance of reinforcing his views to preserve and maintain the PUC. Race to the top funds. Created by Obama, this policy will give any school system funding so long as they meet the criteria specifically established by Obama's administration. The problem is that some of these criteria force school districts to relinquish a great deal of their authority and jurisdiction over providing education in order to receive such funds. These funds require school districts to adopt certain textbooks in certain subject areas, which clearly dictate the curriculum that these districts are forced to provide. It is a classic example of quid pro quo, namely, do as I require, and you shall receive. Governor Arnold's endorsement of this plan further exacerbates his negative stance on California public education and adds to the eventual erosion of autonomy with respect to curriculum in California's public schools. These funds do not in any way come from the state, as Arnold and his administration may argue. They strictly come from the federal government. Arnold and his administration, including the separately elected superintendent of public instruction, Jack O'Connell, had in no way served as intermediaries. In other words, as referees in the administration of such funds. The race to the top finish left public school districts in California alone, and they're dealing with a growing state budget crisis and eventual elimination of public school funding. This is a way to eliminate public schools and bring in corporate-sponsored charter schools. Arnold as a marketing tool for California. So, he's traveling around the world promoting a state everyone already knows exists, with products everyone already knows we have, utilizing state money to ride his jet, which is housed in the Santa Monica airport. Arnold fails to understand that the acting world he came from into the political world he is currently in are two totally different things. Though politics may be just as fictitious, the lives of nearly 40 million people are also at stake. To advertise a state using depleting state funds so as to attract people to come to California, where already there are not enough jobs for those here, runs completely counter to Arnold's 2003 campaign slogan, quote, to rebuild California. Instead of rebuilding California, Arnold has only deconstructed the state. In 2004, the Democratic legislature proposed an increase in DMV fees. Using his theatrical abilities, Arnold challenged said fee hike by having a boulder crush an obsolete car on live TV in front of millions. 2 years later, in 2006, the state found itself from a $56 million surplus to a $28 million deficit. Had the DMV hike in 2004 occurred, the $22 million deficit would have been a $14 million surplus, thereby eliminating the need to reduce public education, healthcare, and human services, as well as benefits for the elderly and disabled. This theatrical act by Arnold in 2004, though very entertaining and politically effective, has translated into nothing but the devastation of millions of lives and vital state services. Prop 49, the After School Education and Safety Act of 2002. The name is very much misleading. It in no way implies after-school programs. In fact, after-school programs in California public schools are financially mandated and carried out in two ways. Found in most inner-city schools as Beyond the Bell programs, which are funded by the federal government. Another way of providing after-school programs are through city-sponsored programs such as Parks and Rec, found in most suburban school districts. The state in no way offers funding for after-school programs, either directly or indirectly. What Prop 49 did was provide funding for campus security personnel to provide for the safety component of the act. However, with limited detail and restrictions found in the act, many school districts have utilized Prop 49 funds as they see best for their school district. For example, some districts such as LAUSD and Inglewood Unified School District have utilized such funds to build facilities and operation centers for their school district police departments. In California, unlike most other states, There is both direct and indirect democracy. Indirect democracy is when the electorate votes for representatives, such as senators or assemblymen. These individuals then make decisions on behalf of the entire electorate. Direct democracy is found in California in 3 ways. First, the initiative system, or propositions. Second, the recall system, which is the removal of public officials from office. And the referendum system, whereby a decision by the legislature is approved or disapproved by the electorate. Ironically, Arnold got into the system because of direct democracy, and used it to mold the system in such a way as he desires. He entered office after the recall of former Governor Davis, and has used both the propositions and referendum aspects of direct democracy to disguise his true intentions in the face of the public for their approval. Propositions such as Prop 49 are framed in such a way that one would think that it's all in support of public schools, when in fact, after its approval, the financial allocation of such proposition clearly proved to be otherwise. I know this is an extremely biased view of our Governor Arnold, but it's my project, so there. Arnold does not have our best interests in mind. We simply don't make enough money to be in his focus. He has not done anything to improve this state, but spend more of its budget gallivanting around the world and creating imaginary highways of hydrogen while increasing traffic, accidents, debt, foreclosures, and unemployment. Way to go, Conan. You're a real barbarian in the government. So feel free to dig deeper. References are listed shortly. Thanks for watching. Diva! Rawr!